Welcome to News 6 Extra. I'm Christopher Heath. It is Friday, November the 14th, and the crispness in the air, Kathleen, is still with us. I got up this morning to get my son down to the bus, and still hoodie weather in the mornings, but gotta tell you, it's going to be a warm weekend.
I know. I'm kind of sad about that. I wanted the cool weather to stick around a little bit longer. But we
Yeah,
still have time, you know?
we still have time. I'll settle for cool mornings. Afternoons can get warm. That's fine. Who cares? But just as long as at night it drops below where I set my AC, I think
Right.
we're going to call that a victory.
Right. My dog's been a little spooked this week because the AC hasn't been running as much. So she's hearing more noise outside. And so she's barking at everything. And
Yes,
it's like,
as
you
small
know,
dogs are wont to do.
right. So
Yeah.
it's like, maybe if it is a little bit warmer, the AC will run more and it'll quiet her down. So
Get her a thunder blanket.
She she has a thunder coat. I call it her straight jacket, but she
Yeah.
only gets that when things get really bad, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta understand that they've got, generations of instincts in there telling them that every noise out there is coming to kill you and
Right.
that they are the only thing standing in the way.
Right. And she's there to protect me. So,
She is. Yeah,
from every car door that slams.
well, it is Orange County, especially on the east side where we live, is notoriously filled with marauders and you know people just constantly on the prowl.
Right.
So
So,
she's keeping you safe.
right. Watchdog.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So let's head over to Miss Candace Campos, who I know has the weekend forecast as we are getting ever closer to Thanksgiving. Here's Candace.
I'm News 6 Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. Temperatures for the rest of the weekend into the weekend will go from near normal for your Friday, and we'll be warming up back into the 80s for your weekend. And it's the 80s that is going to stay throughout most of next week and even into the following week, which gets us all the way through Thanksgiving. At this point in time, long-range models really not showing any big-time cold fronts in sight, which means that we are going to be staying above average at least until about Thanksgiving. Looking at the satellite and radar composite, we have a big ridge of high pressure. Yesterday, it was over the Gulf. Now it's more over the southeast, and we'll continue to bring our winds in more out of the east. And that's really going to start warming us up with highs again closing in on near 80 degrees today. Certainly we'll be getting to that point by this weekend. So as we take you here hour by hour, 78 will be our high this afternoon. Still tons of sunshine, a nice mild afternoon, as most of us will continue to stay pretty comfortable and pretty dry. Now later on tonight, temperatures will be again a touch warmer than how we started off this morning. 40s, 50s, and a couple more 60s there along the coastline. Looking ahead at the weekend forecast, again, it will be the return of the 80s. That's really going to be the big story. After record cold earlier this week, we're right back into the 80s, just like how we had last weekend. Looking at the countdown, again, 13 days officially until Thanksgiving, 16 days till the end of hurricane season. And before you know it, we'll be celebrating Christmas and New Year's in about 41 to 47 days. Kind of widening out the view, you can see the jet stream, and it's going to kind of stay shifted up to our north. There's really no big dip like we dealt with earlier this week. And because of that, as that jet stream continues to stay north, we're talking limited fronts through Thanksgiving, and highs in the meantime will be staying in those 80s. You can see the temperature outlook according to the Climate Prediction Center, keeping all of the southeast under very high chances for abnormally warm conditions all the way throughout at least November 28th, which will get us through Thanksgiving. Also, wrapping up the season is hurricane season as of right now. No new tropical development is expected. It looks like overall things are pretty good and quiet in that part of the forecast. As we get results here, the full 7-day forecast, highs again returning to the 80s on Saturday, continuing into next week.
There it is. 80s is back, but at least it's cool in the evening. Okay, so we've spent the last, let's say, 2 months with me complaining about our government not being able to function. Government was shut down for the longest shutdown in U.S. history, more than 40 days with the government shut down, Congress unable to do the one job it actually has: power of the purse. Article 1 of our wonderful Constitution puts that in the hands of the United States Congress, the House and the Senate, the two chambers who are supposed to distribute the funds and make sure the government's functioning. Couldn't do that. So now that's done. they signed a short-term funding thing. We're back to business at least through the 30th. So, workers will get back pay. That's all very good. One of the lingering things that was in the background through the whole shutdown was this issue of the so-called Epstein files. And to take you down a rabbit hole that really is not worth going down to where this came from is that this was a very much almost an online type talking point for years, that there was this treasure trove of information out there. And obviously, listen, this case had been investigated in the Southern District of Florida. It had been investigated in the federal level, at the state level. And Jeffrey Epstein and the various crimes, Ghislaine Maxwell, his accomplice, who was eventually convicted, all of that had been investigated. And there's always been this thing out there, well, what is in these files? What other names are in these files? And clearly, if the names in the files were people who could be charged, federal government conceivably could have brought charges. So the question's always been, well, do you release the files and have people's names out there when there's not enough proof maybe to bring any charges or implicate wrongdoing? This has been a back and forth because there was what's called a discharge petition sitting in the House. I'll spare you the basic rules, but essentially, if enough House members sign a discharge petition, it will force a vote on an issue that perhaps leadership doesn't want coming to the floor. Well, there was this discharge petition, and now that the House is back in session, the discharge petition has officially been signed, which is setting up a vote on the release of at least part of what is being called the Epstein files, and the question of, whose names are in it. The House could have a vote in the next couple of days, waiting to see exactly what happens in the Senate. So this is obviously putting a lot of people in D.C. in some very interesting positions when it comes to releasing this, because a lot of members ran on releasing the Epstein files and now are being told, okay, cool, you're in DC, you're in power, release them. So we'll see if that happens. As Natalie Brand explains, there are still questions swirling as to what these files contain and what they mean for people whose names may or may not be mentioned inside. Here's her report.
This is not a partisan issue. The sexual abuse of children and young women is in no way partisan.
Annie Farmer, who says she was abused by Jeffrey Epstein when she was 16, told CBS News why she wants the Justice Department to release all of its files on the case.
This trickle of information is really difficult, right? We're just asking for the full files to be released so we don't have to continue to live, in this roller coaster world.
Members of the House Oversight Committee this week released more than 20,000 pages of documents provided by Epstein's estate. A CBS News review reveals President Trump's name appears hundreds of times, including Epstein saying that he'd, quote, met some bad people, none as bad as Trump. And in one text exchange, someone whose name was redacted wrote to Epstein, "It will all blow over. They're really just trying to take down Trump and doing whatever they can to do that." Epstein replied, "Yes, thanks. It's wild because I am the one able to take him down." President Trump, who has denied any wrongdoing, again this morning called it a hoax pushed by Democrats and criticized some Republicans for falling into their clutches.
I've talked to many of the women, and the women themselves have said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is among the Republicans supporting a House vote that would compel the Department of Justice to release all the Epstein files.
The American people deserve to see transparency from their government.
That effort got the final signature it needed this week when a new Democratic Congresswoman was sworn in. A full vote on the House floor is expected next week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
When we say releasing some of the files, there are files out there that will most likely never see the light of day. And this is going to be the grand jury files, both state and federal grand juries that might have been impaneled or were impaneled to investigate Jeffrey Epstein. Grand jury proceedings are secret by nature. That's the point of the grand jury. And their files are almost never released. Almost never. So even if this gets released, there will still always be lingering documents out there that will never see the light of day. So we'll wait and see what happens, as this has become a bit of a political firestorm in our nation's capital. Back here at home, a story we brought you in February, an Orlando police officer high-speed chase. It ends with a homeless man getting hit and killed. It has now been determined that the officer will not face any charges. Stephanie Rodriguez has been looking into this case and explains, she talked to a couple different attorneys, including a defense attorney, about why the state attorney's office decided on not pursuing any charges. Here's Stephanie.
Oh, there was a guy under your truck.
Under my truck?
That was the moment Detective Christopher Moulton learned he had run over a man while trying to pull over Darnell Bargnair for not having a readable license plate. The chase reached 90 miles per hour.
It ended here on Indiana Street where Gerald Neal was standing. Bargnair hit him as he jumped the curb before hitting this pole behind me, and then Moulton's car ran over Neal just seconds later.
Moulton got out of his truck and chased Bargnair. Once Neal was spotted by another officer, he was taken to a hospital where he later died. Prosecutors say the injuries that killed the 56-year-old were caused by Bargnair, so he's being charged with vehicular homicide. But the state attorney's office found there wasn't enough evidence to charge Moulton.
You have to look at, well, what caused that crash?
Attorney Evan Self, who isn't affiliated with this case, says if the prosecutor felt a conviction wasn't possible, the right decision was made.
What I think the state was doing is looking at the police officer's actions, and maybe at some point his decision making wasn't the greatest. He shouldn't have perhaps have continued this, but the actual cause of the crash and then the cause of the injury was really caused by the defendant leaving and fleeing.
Those who knew Neal and were there that night feel otherwise.
If it wasn't for him leaving his truck on top of Gerald for 33 minutes, he would have never died. He would have survived the little dragging from the first car. They need to charge him because he was wrong.
OPD released a statement saying Moulton is still on alternative duty pending an internal investigation into any policy and procedure violations. In Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
And you heard in that report there from attorney Evan Self. Evan is an attorney who I've actually interviewed several times. Very skilled and gifted defense attorney, knows quite a bit about criminal defense, and very good voice to have to add a lot of perspective to the story that's gotten a lot of attention. All right, stay with us. We're going to be talking about strollers, 6 things to do, silent escapes, and an angel tree. That's on the other side. We'll see you then. Welcome back to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. If you've had children, then you know that the appropriate stroller, that's everything. We went from the Bob to the double Bob. The boys were both young. Back to the single Bob. Then we did the umbrella strollers. I had a Jeep stroller for a while. I mean, because it's all about putting, you need compartments for baby powder, for diapers, for food, for formula. And then, of course, the kid needs to be happy. And then if, here in Florida, you probably want to have a good sunshade that covers the entire, part of the stroller so that they're not out in the sun the whole time. It's a lot going on. And I shudder to think what we spent on, especially those high-end strollers. They can get a little pricey, but they're worth it when you're at Disney. Oh, boy, are they worth it. Anyway, Tina Kraus has more on what's trending in the world of baby travel.
16-month-old Sophia is always on the go. Even getting out the door is an adventure.
Are we good?
So her mom, Nimra, chose a lightweight stroller that can keep up with their busy London life.
That's your child's ride. So you've got to make sure that they have the right ride and that ride works for you and them together.
There are countless rides to choose from as moms and dads navigate a multi-billion-dollar baby stroller industry.
So this is the Jules Air.
Some go compact for easy travel.
That took less than 2 seconds and it was up.
Less than 2 seconds.
Others opt for high tech with the high-end Cybex E-Gazelle.
You can just pop it into its rocking function and it will rock for 20 minutes for you, and then you can just restart it again. So it's just really about trying to make parents' lives easier.
A rechargeable battery helps up hills when the stroller's loaded with kids or groceries.
The motor kicks in and pushes the pram along with you.
There's also the all-in-one design of the Duna.
The clever thing about the Duna is it's a car seat that when you take out the car, the wheels will pop open and it becomes your stroller.
And for style-savvy families, earth tones are trending.
Like your khaki greens, your terracotta prams coming through, your sage, this is kind of giving a new vibe.
In a sea of stroller options, Sophia's mom sums it up with one simple rule.
Sophia's happy if mama's happy. And mama's happy if Sophia happy. Happy mama, happy baby.
Making for a smoother ride on the road of raising little ones. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Kathleen, you and I need to figure out a way to get on assignment in London.
Yes, we do.
I don't know how, but we're going to work on that because it seems like this show needs to go on the road, and that road needs to lead to a place where they say pram, which is a four-wheel carriage being pushed by foot. The pram.
Well, it's my dream to go to London. I'm like a big British royal history buff. So we definitely need to go on the road to London.
News 6 Extra on the scene in London. Yeah.
Yes.
We may end up having to do like London, Ontario. I think that's in the budget. I don't think London, England's going to be in the budget, but
You're probably right.
High-tech strollers. Yeah, that seems like a hard news thing we can go get, right?
Yeah. We'll just go around and push the prams around,
The pram, pushing the pram.
Yes.
That's terrible British accent there. All right, it's that time of year. We're kicking off the Angel Tree. Of course, News 6 every year. We team up with the Salvation Army, and we're going to show you exactly, Lisa Bell's going to show you exactly what it takes to put this all together and ensure that all those little angels and those in need get what they need this time of year. Here's Lisa.
It is that time of year again, the kickoff for the Salvation Army's Angel Tree program, and the results that we'll see in just a few short weeks are nothing short of a Christmas miracle. I'm News 6 anchor Lisa Bell. Thousands of kids and senior citizens in our community will have something special to open, all thanks to the generosity of our viewers and community partners. Last year, we delivered gifts to 6,000 angels. Here's a look back at how it all came together.
It is a special day. Anchors Matt Austin and Lisa Bell are at the mall at Millennia.
From kickoff day in mid-November, people across Central Florida spent the next 4 weeks adopting the perfect angel.
I have a 9-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl.
From trees at the mall at Millennia, Chick-fil-A restaurants, and online.
Without this, they would have nothing under the tree at all. Oh my gosh.
Opening their hearts and wallets, all to make the magic happen for 6,000 kids and seniors. Their name, age, and clothing size listed on their wish list.
And it doesn't matter what's in that bag. I know it's going to put a smile on my son's face.
All the gifts then purchased, packed, and delivered to the Salvation Army's so-called Joy Center for Distribution Day.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Y'all have a blessed day.
It's a day we at News 6 look forward to every year. Hundreds of bicycles rolled in and rolled out.
Pick one teddy bear per shop.
Yeah. Along with stuffed stockings and bags full of gifts.
Oh, she's gonna love this.
We met one mom last year who was battling brain cancer.
Blue is her favorite color. She loves bears. So we're gonna do a white teddy bear with blue.
Dozens of elves making their list and checking it twice.
You know, it's the season of giving, and I said, let me find something to do and give my time.
Giving countless hours to match the right gifts with the right angel before heading out to their new home.
A unicorn. What I teach all my kids, Christmas is not about receiving gifts. just be thankful that you was able to see Christmas.
For more information on the Angel Tree program, visit clickorlando.com. Lisa Bell, News 6.
And as we transition into Michelle Morgan's 6 things to do, let's add a 7th to that. And that is swing by Mall Millennia, swing by a local Chick-fil-A and help out. It's, this time of year as we get into Thanksgiving and reflect on what we are thankful for. And we've realized that we're heading into a holiday season when a lot of families, are going to be struggling. We just came off, again, the government shutdown. Maybe they were affected by that. Maybe they've been affected by, continued high prices, inflation, wages that haven't been keeping up. There's a million stories out there, people struggling, and there's things that each and every one of us can do, big things, little things, to try and make the holidays just a little bit brighter. All right, here's Michelle Morgan with our Friday annual. Boy, that's bad use of the English language. Every Friday, Michelle Morgan gives us 6 things to do. Here's Michelle.
I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Looking for something fun to do this weekend? Well, after this week's cold snap, warmer weather is on the way just in time for a fun-filled weekend. For the first time ever, a balloon glow, drone, and laser show lights up Lake County. I spoke to the CEO, Jeremy Kowarski, about what you can expect.
Bring your own chairs and blankets, stake a spot, go enjoy all the vendors, the music. We've got a great DJ that plays literally everything that you're going to want to hear, and family friendly, of course. And that way you can kind of participate in the atmosphere of the festivalness of it, as well as get a ride on a real hot air balloon.
It starts at 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday at Willow Tree Park in Groveland. Illuminate kicks off this weekend at Aquatica from 6 to 10 p.m., featuring giant lanterns, shimmering displays, glowing walkways, and more. Tickets start at $25. Festival of Trees returns this weekend to the Orlando Museum of Art through November 23rd. Enjoy a winter wonderland, live entertainment, and Santa meet and greets from 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. Tickets are $20 for adults, $12 for kids. Astrofest at the Orlando Science Center is this weekend from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Celebrate space and astronomy with hands-on activities, films, live shows, and more. The Flapjack 5K is Saturday in Leesburg from 8 a.m. through noon, featuring a 3-mile run or walk and a pancake feast. Race entry includes a finisher medal, complimentary mimosa or Bloody Mary, and all-you-can-eat pancakes. This Saturday at 10 a.m., Ponce Inlet Historical Museum hosts Sandbox Archaeology, a hands-on dig for young explorers. Expect pleasant weather. If you have something fun happening in your town next weekend, let me know. I've been getting so many cool events from viewers just like you. Just head over to clickorlando.com or a News 6 app. Just click Contact Us.
All right, Kathleen. Quietly, like we're on NPR. All things considered. Hello, and welcome to All Things Considered. I'm Christopher Heath. The Silent Escape is what they're calling this. This is so it's a 4-day retreat in a cabin up in Sweden. And the catch is there's no Wi-Fi, there's no phones, very quiet. You're asked to keep your conversation under a certain decibel level, softer than a normal conversation. Very quiet. It's all monitored. The idea is to help you unwind with the quietness. You can hear the loons out on the lake. You can hear the wind blowing. And the wind is telling you it's too quiet. Where's the Wi-Fi? That's what the wind is saying. I'm a hard pass on the silent cabin. I'm all for regular cabin. Love the woods. Yeah. But silent cabin? Pass.
I think I sometimes like to go home and just sit in silence. Just be quiet for a while. But I think after a while, I would want to be able to speak at a normal level and be able to get on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's
but to each their own.
Little too much disconnecting.
And that's I've noticed this in some of the newer trends where people have to be forced to do things that we all used to kind of be like, it's just normal. Like when you go camping, you're off the grid. Right. Now it's like, no, we have this special thing that we'll force you to do these things. And it's like, well, hold on, that used to just be like that's how it was.
Right.
Like when you go to restaurants, some restaurants now will be like, we have a no cell phone policy, and it's like, well, just put put your phone away and don't use it.
Right.
Ah.
That is true. But I'm with you. A nice cabin in the woods, that's relaxing. But I would want to be able to speak,
Yeah. I'm not necessarily going to, hunker down and watch Netflix or, TV the whole time, but I'd like a TV there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's raining outside. I want to, watch a TV show or something. Regular cabin in the woods, yes. Silent cabin, no. They do have, there's a laboratory up in Minnesota that has a room that's like negative 24 decibels. So it's like, it's so quiet, like you can start hearing like your own heart beating and the blood like rushing in your own veins and stuff. And like it's creepy how like, and people go in there and they can't stay in there very long because it freaks them out so much.
Yeah, I don't think I would like that. That's a little too quiet. No.
It's too quiet. It's quiet. It's almost too quiet. Yes. The things we do to try and entertain ourselves and get unplugged from all of this. And then, we miss it. We want it back.
Yeah.
Because we invented it for a reason. We like our distractions.
We do.
So, anyway. All righty. Big plans for the weekend?
I'm not sure yet. I had some plans and they kind of fell through, so I'm kind of waiting to see what the plan is now. So, if not, it'll be a nice, relaxing weekend at home, So, kind of depends. What about you?
Well, so last Friday, I told you I was going to do some yard work. That turned out to be a lie. And I should apologize to you and our viewers for deceiving them and leading them to believe that I would be doing yard work because no actual work in the yard was accomplished, which leads me to what I will be doing this weekend, which is yard work. We're getting to the point right now with the front bushes that if I don't do something this weekend, the HOA will send me a rather nasty note saying, no. Mr. Heath, we've noticed your bushes out front are not in regulation and blah, blah, blah. And I'll have to take care of it then. So I'm going to nip that in the bud, both figuratively and literally, get out there, get those trimmed back, get the yard looking nice. So that will actually have to happen this weekend.
Okay. Well, I'll check in on Monday or Tuesday and see how it went,
Yes, because Monday I have an event, so I'm not going to be here Monday. I'll be here, but not here Monday. Right. And then next Wednesday, as I mentioned, I have jury duty.
Yes.
So if you are watching this and you're about to go on trial in the greater Orange County area, be warned.
I know. You could be deciding your fate.
Strict taskmaster. They're all guilty. So,
you'll have to let us know how that goes.
Well, if I'm not here Thursday, you'll know I got picked.
Well, that's true. I'll have to let everybody know that.
Chris is on a jury.
Yes.
Currently deciding the fate of humanity. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Or probably not. I've never gotten picked. I've never gotten out of the main room. It's always I get to that main room, I sit there for the morning, and then they come in around 1 o'clock, and they're like, yeah, if you're here, go home. We're done.
No, I did serve on a jury. I don't know if I'd want to do it again, but it was an interesting experience, but yeah.
So Florida, with the exception of capital cases, uses what we call a petite jury, which is 6 people. Mm-hmm. So every time when you're watching like Law and Order, you're watching a movie or something, and they've got 12 jurors, understand that's not Florida. Florida would only have that if you're accused of a capital crime. If you're accused of anything else, 6 people.
Yeah.
So a petite jury.
That's what I was a part of. Yes.
Yeah. So, all righty. Well, have a fantastic weekend doing whatever it is you do. I will endeavor to actually get out there and cut the grass, and then I will be back here. I'll be back here on Monday, but I will see you on Tuesday. So have a fantastic rest of your Friday. All right. So with that, I will say thank you to Kathleen. I'll say thank you to Candace for the fantastic weather. Thank you to Michelle for the 6 things to do, and for Lisa Bell, who will be out at the Mall Millennia with our angel tree all day today. So you can go swing by and see our angel Lisa and adopt an angel as well. We break news all the time on clickorlando.com. Of course, we'll be on the air today starting at 4 o'clock for News 6. I will see you back here next week. Have a wonderful, safe weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.